Welcome to W.Heirs, where the W stands for wealthy and the heirs are self-explanatory. Today, I'm going to share with you how we netted about $33,000 on this wholesale deal. I had a buddy of mine come to me. He said he was serious about real estate. Said that he wanted to start getting into some wholesaling. And I said, all right, yeah, sure. I understand how the process works. I can show you some things, but you got to show me that you for real. I'm not going to waste my time and show you and then you not do nothing with it. So you see this building behind me, just real quick. It's my quad that we just bought. Mid-year during the COVID times. Actually a pretty good deal. I actually got paid at closing. That's another video though. But so yeah, so what we did, we saw some videos, studied up on some wholesaling, and then we went out looking for some deals, right? So we ended up using a tool, and this is what I use, a tool called Deal Machine. Everybody's heard of it. Most wholesalers have heard of it, so it ain't no secret. Download Deal Machine. Any property that you drive by, you can go right in the Deal Machine, add it to the Deal Machine, and then you can look up the seller's phone number, email address, and even send mailers out, right? Yeah, somebody knocked down the stop sign last night. Hilarious. But anyway, so I'm in my neighborhood, and I saw this house. We put it in Deal Machine. Sent him a mailer. A buddy of mine was in charge of sending out texts and calling the owners. He ended up getting in touch with the owner. Set up the meeting. We go to the house. Owner says, I want 200. Wants 200 because it appraised for 225 last year. And I was like, okay, well, properties are up. I'm thinking in my mind. I was like, okay, well, without seeing the property, sir, because we don't know the condition that it's in, we can offer you 170. He says, no, can't do 170. It's okay, no problem. So we go over to the property. We look at the property. Pretty good property. Has a renter in it right now. And or at the time, it had a renter in it. And, we're looking around. We take the pictures. And my buddy is with me so he can understand the process to see how it works, how we talk to the sellers. Seller knows that the property's worth the 200s. But the key was he needed money fast. He said, I can't wait. I can't put it on the market. I can't wait that long to get my cash. I just need a buyout price right now. What can you do for me? I said, okay, listen, the house been in their family for years. I said, okay, well, we'll do what's fair. There's some things that need to be changed on the property, some updates that need to take place. So we'll go home, we'll try some numbers out and get back to you. A week later, we come back and we give them the numbers. We say, hey man, based on the things that need to be done, I'm sorry man, I'm still at 170, after seeing the property. And he's like, can you do 175? I'm like, no. I mean, usually and that's a good point. Usually when a seller comes back, negotiates down, especially from 200 to 175, they don't need the other $5,000. Stick to your number and go from there. Most sellers won't back away, and if they do sound like they're backing away, they're going to call you tomorrow and say, okay, yeah, let's do it. Because think about it. And this is a close you can use. Say, listen, if I give you if you give me $5,000, and I give you $170,000, is that worth the trade? Hands down, yes is the answer every single time. Whatever those numbers are, listing agents, you can use that when closing your seller on giving closing costs every time because it just makes sense. It's not a manipulation. It just makes sense. It's like, hey, I'm gonna give you $3,000. You give me $3,000, and I'm gonna give you $200,000. That's a no-brainer. But anyway, so that's what we did. We settled for 170, locked it up for 170, and immediately a buddy of mine, he put it on the internet. 2 or 3 pictures, maybe a couple of email addresses came in. It just went straight to Facebook. Go to all the wholesaling groups, go to the flipping groups, and just post the property. We posted the property for sale for $207,500, right? Very odd number. All that is to kind of make it look like that, listen, our fee is already worked into the deal, right? So any wholesaler that sees it, they know that the fee is in there. It's probably that $7,000, and they go from there. 3 days later, we get contacted from a wholesaler that represents a hedge fund, or that has connections with a hedge fund. He put his fee on top, and he sold it to the hedge fund for $214, right? Now the key here is just like, man, that spread is pretty huge from 170 to 214. Well, his fee was like $5,500, and we had to take care of all the closing costs. And the closing costs were about $4,500. People that know their numbers and wholesaling, you're like, why the hell did you pay $4,500 for closing costs? Well, in this case, when you're dealing with a seller that's willing to sell for 170 and he knows his value is in the 200s, if you go to closing and show that you sold it for $215,000, what do you think he's gonna say? He's gonna be like, nope, I want my original number now. If you sold it to them for this price, I want my original number. So what do you have to do? You have to do what they call a double closing. This is when you close in the morning with the seller at the 170 and close in the evening with the new buyer at the 215. And this is how, and you take the cream in the middle. That's how you make $33,000 on a wholesale deal, or $40,000 on a wholesale deal. If you're only making $5,000 or $10,000 on a wholesale deal, you don't need to do a double close. That's just that would have came down to you telling the seller up front, saying, hey, I'm an investor, I plan on making some money off selling this deal. If the seller understands that, $5,000 to $10,000 shouldn't be a problem. I think anything above that number, you probably need to consider a double close. Because if not, when you get to that closing table, that seller sees that end number, you're in trouble. So if you have any questions about wholesaling or flipping, or even how to get the numbers to work, all my information is in the description below. Feel free to reach out. If I don't pick up the phone, I will call you. Leave a message, because I listen to my messages. I will call you back as soon as I have the opportunity.